Alright, let's make sure we're working. That I'm not an angry green screen like I was that one time. Checka. Am I more than an angry green screen? I hope I am. Let's make sure. Alright, I'm not an angry green screen. We are good. Today, I spent a bunch of money. And y'all get to enjoy that with me. So today, I picked up the second round of Cruel Boy Orruk releases. So, last week, we had the first round of them. This week, we have their second round. Now, technically, there are still outstanding units that have not been released for them yet. But nothing that, like this is what I'm planning on picking up. The other units that have not been released, I'm not super planning on picking up. So, this is, for the time being, probably the end of my Cruel Boy Orruk purchases. But we have some awesomely cool stuff to look at today. Provided by me, because I bought it. But I picked up these from Armchair Adventure in Honolulu. And other rounds in Honolulu came through and helped me out. And they had one of these big, beautiful birds left. So I'll be opening him up too. And we're also going to check out the rules after we look at the runners and all that stuff. Because I have the book, which I normally don't have. So, but I have got the book now, so that's cool. I got it last week. And it was in the video. Sorry, I've been running everywhere basically from the moment I got up. So I'm kind of all over the place, so I apologize. But let's swap cameras. And take a look at some stuff from last week first. So, not Cruel Boys related, but our Archer, the Knight Judicator, he be rocking. So he's getting pretty ready. He needs some love still, but soon he'll be joining my Stormcast from Dominion. This, still in the process of painting that. That's also from last week. My big crossbow. Same thing with our reposed chariot. Still needs lots of love. Working on that last night. And then, also from last week, we've got this big, beautiful bastard right here. My Orc Riding Grimace. The Beast Boss on Sloggoth. He is ready to rock, ready to get sprayed and get his base done, and then ready to join my forces. So he's looking pretty spiffy. I like him quite a bit. So we'll put him off to the side. That's what we have from last week from what I've done. So I got 2 of them done, and then the other 2 still working on. Making progress. Alright. So let's open up some of the new stuff. Let's do the big bird first. Why? Because the big bird's cool. I've been super excited for this big bird. I was mega on the fence of whether or not I was going to get it. And then I decided, fuck it. And then they didn't release it for another month and a half. So I decided to stay with the fuck it and still pick it up. So let's get this plastic wrap off it. I will say this bird is way too expensive. He is way too fucking expensive. A lot of the other Cruel Boy stuff has been pretty cheap for Warhammer. Warhammer's fucking expensive. He's been pretty, but it's all been pretty cheap for Warhammer. This guy's very expensive. So, let's see on the box. We've got the alternate build, where you can build the non-named one, or you can choose to build the named character. You can build Gobsprakk, or this guy on Vulture. Killer Boss on Gutrippaz. So, that's your options. I'll be building the named guy, because he's got a lot of fun lore and stuff. He's pretty cool. So, Yeah, I like the big bird. I was really hoping they would put him, because this guy costs as much as like a greater demon. I was really hoping they'd put him in like the big fancy greater demon box, but I guess they're not doing that now. Alright, Gobsprakk, the Mouth of Morg. And we have his runners. So we've got what looks like 2 runners here. Well, let's see. So we've got the alternate bird head right there. Pretty cool. This looks like the alternate rider. You've got some of the body, some claws. That's the hand for the staff. There's a horn for the alternate head. This is the tree he lives on with his little bit of meat there. Still part of the alternate guy. I don't know what that is, but it's really cool. It's like the front half of a skull. Here's the little the little grot that's hanging on to Gobsprack's, like, what is it called? Like seat, throne, I guess. We got some of the bird. And there's some of his legs. There's part of his tail. There's part of his body. So he's going to be a pretty hefty boy. He's going to be a pretty hefty boy. Alright. We've got the big wings here. These are going to be really fun to paint. Lots of cool dry brushing there. We've got some more wings. Maybe that's like the inside part of the wing, maybe? Maybe for like right here. Maybe that's where that goes. We have part of the tail. There's a banner for this chair. More banner for the chair. Tail, some armor. Here's the Gobsprakk vulture head. I do think I like this head better than the one on the helmet. That's probably the head I'll be going with. There's the helmet for the alternate guy. And then, yeah, a bunch of weird little bits and bobs here and there. There's Gobsprack's head. Stuff like that. So he should be pretty big. He's not going to be massive, but he should be pretty big. And he's on a fucking giant base. Jesus. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's move his runners. Let's check out his instructions, and then we will check out his rules. The Mouth of Morg. Alright, so it's showing you that the character and part of the throne changes, and the head of the vulture changes. So he looks like he's going to have a bunch of armor on the neck, or like wrappings on the neck, and then a different head. But besides that, he's the same either way. Which is fair. That's actually a lot to change for a variation for this model. Alright. You build the tail, you build the ass, you build the body. You put the body on the thing, the feet go on the thing. Thankfully, it looks like none of the feet or anything are molded on the tree. So if you wanted to put him onto a different piece of like scenery, you could totally do that. Like if you want him to be on like a ruined wall or something and not like on this like busted ass tree, you could totally do that. Alright, and then there's how to install the chair. Right there. Then you start putting his wings on. And then we've got all kinds of little bric-a-brac. More little bric-a-brac. And then your choice of pilot. Right there. Okay, that weird piece, I guess, goes on his back. Because he's wearing like a creature skull as a backplate. That's pretty cool, and a nice callback to the Swamp Caller Shaman, who has a similar like skull back piece. I like that a lot. All right, there's our birdie boy, and then we have the alternate birdie boy. All this is pretty much the same. I don't know why they repeated these instructions. Because the only thing that's different is this page. At least as far as I can tell. I mean, like, if you look at that one there, and then that one there, It's the same. I don't know why they repeated the instructions. That's weird. But they did. And then we've got our bird here. I do like you're going to get the whole alternate head and neck. So as far as kit bashing goes, this is really cool. Like if you wanted to make like a Tzeentch Knight or something, it'd be cool as shit to use. And then we're going to get our alternate baddie. Oh, and it looks like he has different heads he can have. That's really cool. So you get a lot of nice alternate pieces here. That's really nice. So there's a big banner. Do you use that banner? Oh, this is going to solve a problem that we're going to run into later. Do you use that banner on the other guy? Because if you don't, okay, you don't. You could totally use that banner on one of your Gutrippaz from the Dominion box and have a banner bearer. We'll talk about that. We'll come back to that piece, and while that extra bit is really nice. But yeah, really straightforward, simple, beautiful looking kit. Let's take a look at his rolls real quick. Because I think that'd be fun to do, to look at the rolls for each of these guys. I'm probably not going to build any of them on stream today, so I thought it'd be fun to look at their rolls. So, alright. So, how many points is he? He is... He's the Mouth of Mork. Where the hell is the Mouth of Mork? Okay, Gobsprakk, Mouth of Mork, 300 points. He's a leader, behemoth, single, and unique. So that's really easy. So you could actually take him in a 750 point game because he's less than half the points cost. So that's awesome. I mean, he's probably going to be just a flat out permanent addition to all my Cruel Boys units. And the 240 for the non unique one. All right, let's find them rolls. We'll be back and see you guys later. Alright, Kiloboss. He's got 14 wounds, 4+ save, 7 bravery. He's got a stinger, beak and flesh tearing talons, and the jagged boss sticker. Let's see. Most of the stuff is like 3+. So he can fly. He has something called All Part of the Plan. If a friendly Cruel Boys unit fails a battle shot test, only one model will flee. Alright. You can use the same command ability more than once in the same phase if you pick this unit to issue the command ability. Okay, so that's decent enough. Weird little buffs and stuff. But this guy's where the cool shit is for this model. So he can cast and unbind 2 spells. He has... The unit is accompanied by Grot Wrinklefinger, who is armed with a backup stabber. So you get a whole extra weapon on there, which is pretty cool. So you get 2 extra attacks. This model has a 6+ ward save from his banners. That's pretty awesome. And he has something called Mork Says No. So this is his coolest. I'm assuming it's some kind of giant venomous death bird. This is his coolest ability. So each time this unit unbinds a spell, right? So when the enemy goes to use a spell, he can do this twice. So each time this unit unbinds a spell, so on a successful unbind, the caster suffers D3 mortal wounds. If you roll a 10 plus, the caster suffers D6 mortal wounds. So he can basically just make little casters that just like cast one spell and aren't like big fancy characters. You can just basically just make them go and explode. It's the coolest fucking ability. It's super cool. You get a bunch of dice rerolls for redeploy. Once per battle, when this unit attempts to unbind a spell, you can say it's using the Screamin' Mandrak, which I think is the little thing that Grot's holding up on the back. If you do the unbinding roll, you use 3d6 instead of 2d6. So if you really want to fuck something up with Mork Says No, that's what you do. Blah, 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 blah. And then you can give your guys plus or minus 1 to charges. So, cool stuff. Cool stuff for sure. He's got some cool abilities, and he's going to really explode some little guys. Ooh. Really explode some little casters, which is very cool. Alright. Next up. Gutrippaz. So these are the same troops that come in the Dominion box. However, these are supposed to be the non-monopose version of them. Which means they should come with a whole bunch of extra options that the monopose guys don't get. So the monopose guys, just for example, they don't have any instruments. They don't have any banners. And they all are forced to have spears. These guys can have swords and stuff. So we're going to check these out. Alright, so there's our bases. Bases are bases. Here's our instructions, and here's our runners. Alright. So, we've got some spears, we've got some shields, swords, a cool axe. That's a really cool axe. And then bits and bobs from bodies. So it looks like a lot of these you're going to be like trading the arm. Looks like the back of the arm and the hand out is what you'll trade in and out. Which means they're probably going to be a right pain in the tail to magnetize if you wanted to do that. But honestly, I would say you probably shouldn't magnetize this kind of troop unless you really, really, really wanted to. Alright, so here's the guy with the banner. So you are only going to get one of these in the box. You only need one for this unit. However, if you bought the Dominion box, you have a unit of these guys already. So what you can do, you can take the banner and both instruments, which we'll see in a second, I think. You take the banner and both instruments in this unit, build it as spear guys, and then mix it with your Dominion unit and have 2 full featured units. If you use the other banner from Gobsprakk, because he has an extra banner in him, so you'll be able to Gutrippaz that. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. So my goal is to have 2 full featured units across the Dominion box and this one. That's my goal. Alright, so let's see. We have swords, the banner, some more rusty spears. That's a really weird axe. That's a really cool spear. I like how just like shitty it is. It's just like a chunk of metal. I like that. There's a guy with a really fancy helmet. There's the thing for the banner. It's like a skull. It's pretty cool. So this will build 10 guys. Pretty sweet. That's a cool mace. Oh, that's really cool. That's stupid looking. It's a nice spear. Alright, so here's part of the drum. Right, so you can have a drummer and a horn guy. And they're technically different instruments. I mean, they're technically the same instrument, so it doesn't matter. So you're going to get 2, which is nice. There's, I think, part for the banner. Maybe alternate for the banner, I don't know. So if this is an alternate for the banner and you don't get 2 different banners, that's going to be really annoying. Just throwing it out there. But yeah, lots of nice little heads. It looks like for a lot of these, the heads are choice, and the heads and the back of the hands are going to be your choices. So let's look at the instructions for the Gutrippaz. All right, there's our 10 shields. How many heads do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Cool, so we've got 4 extra heads in there, not counting the boss heads. And then we've got And then we got 10 spears and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 hand weapons. So we have some nice variation in there. Pretty sweet. All right, so let's see. All kind of options there. So spear and shield, or mace and sword. There's a guy, looks like spear and shield, spear and shield. It's a guy with the banner. Yeah, it is 2 different banner options. It's a shame they just didn't give you 2 other things so you could just make your own. So I mean, so you could make 2 completely different ones. That's a real shame. Alright, and then we've got our guy here with the horn. That's pretty cool. So it looks like we can give him a spear or a sword, and then give him a horn or a shield to count as the other musician if we wanted. And then there's a guy playing his drum. So yeah, it looks like the heads on most of these are variable, as well as the weapons and the arms. And that's what you get to pick from. That's pretty sweet. Oh, and then we got a bunch of little trinkets. I didn't even see those. Little knives and like skull things and little bags and stuff we can put on our guys. That's pretty sweet. I'm always a big fan of little trinkets and stuff we can put on our dudes. Cool stuff there. Alright, let's check their rolls. Gutrippaz! Gutrippaz! So they can have a wicked sticker or a wicked hacker. They're pretty much the same, except the hack is easier to wound with, but it has less range. So I'm gonna probably be doing the sticker because I think the spears are cooler, and then I can use this unit to make two options, which is really nice. You can have one boss in this unit if you want to. For every 10, you can have a standard bearer, which adds the bravery. So there'll be bravery 6, which is pretty cool. And you can add a musician who adds 1 to the charge rolls. And then they can do their scare tactics thing, where they try to scare off enemies, which is pretty sweet. They're also, like all Gutrippaz units, they're going to get they do extra damage on 6s when they choose to wound. I think it's wound. Maybe it's hit, but I think it's wound. So yeah, pretty cool. Whew. They're just they're a battle line unit, right? So when you play the game, you have to have like a certain number of troops. You can't just take all fancy big monster characters. You have to have like some amount of troops. That's what those guys are. They're the soldiers in your army. Not all big fancy stuff like this guy. This is Swampboss Skumdrekk. This is a giant evil prehistoric sloth. Because who knew you needed that in your life? But now that you know it exists, you do. So, there he is being pictured on his big slothy sloth. This is his like capture cages, and there's our guy. And then on the back, it's showing the alternate options you can build here. So you have the option of having the mouth open or closed, and wearing a helmet or not wearing a helmet. So the head of this creature has a bunch of options. And then the other big option is going to be the guy that rides on top of it. So, check it out. I love this thing. I think it's awesome. When I first decided to get Dominion, I was like, oh man, you know, maybe I'm just buying into the hype or whatever. And then they released pictures of this thing, and I was like, nope, I've made the correct choice. I have made the correct choice. So, let's see. There's part of the saddle, neck. There's the helmet for the guy. There's the helmet for the orc. That's a different helmet for the orc. This is the part that goes around the neck. And there's our orc pilot. 2 different ones. It looks like we're going to get different upper bodies here instead of whole different orcs. And then we have this like hook chain manacle thing. Or we have this, I don't even know what the hell you'd call that, like grab a pole, I guess. Just pretty cool. So here's one of the creature heads. This is the one with no helmet. The cool thing about this is its tongue's gonna be like hanging out the side of his mouth like a dog. It's pretty cool. I think it's very neat. And then here's an alternate head over there. Let's see what we got. We've got some of the body. Some of the like throne the guy sits on. That I think is the creature's junk. Oh yeah, it's a little beat up, unfortunately. Oh well. We'll figure that out. We got an arm. Looks like chest, and the other hip. Then we've got our cages. There's some like manacles and chains. Here's the head with the helmet on it. And then here's the big, like, brushy, spiky tail. Which is pretty cool. There's its feet. Ooh, so many spiky bits on this guy. I like it. And then he's on this pretty big base right here. That's a pretty big base. That's as big as... the Stormcast Eternal Chariot, same size base. Alright. Swampboss Skumdrekk. Yeah, so it looks like the guy, and it looks like part of the head changes. Yeah, so it looks like he can be looking different directions, maybe? Yeah, we'll see. Alright, so here's building the body. And then attaching the arms. And then building out the rest of the body. Putting the tail on there. Putting the front and back half of the bodies together. And then we put all of the like capture slaver stuff on there. Put that all together. Oh, I love the little cage. That's adorable. I didn't see that before. And then so let's see, this guy takes piece 1, 2, 3. This guy takes piece... Alright, so the chest and up is different on the pilots, but the legs are the same. The chest and up is different. Nice. Alright. Let's look at his stats. Ba 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Snatcher boss. He's got 4 different kinds of attacks. Grasping Talons, Noisome Bite, Thrashing Tail, Chained Link, Grappling Hook. This is the generic one, not the named boss. Add 1 to the number of mortal wounds caused by venom-encrusted weapons. That's a thing where you cause extra wounds on 6s. Units, unmodified hit roll of 6, and the attacking unit is wholly within 12 inches of any friendly units with this ability. Well, that's pretty cool. So he just does like an aura, and it does extra mortal wounds. That's pretty sweet. And then he can snatch and grab. So this is the coolest ability of this thing. So once per game, at the end of the combat, you can pick an enemy model. If it doesn't have a mount, is less than 7 wounds, you roll 2d6. If you rolled higher than that enemy's wounds characteristic, the guy like abducts it from the battlefield and it's considered slain. Just flat out, like he grabs it and stuffs it in one of the cages, and then it's just considered dead. It's super cool. It could be an awesome ability for you, or a complete crap ability, but it's a very cool one. And then we have Swampboss Skumdrekk, who's the named version. He has all the same weapons except for the weapon he's carrying. He has he has a slightly better snatch and grab, because you don't have to beat the enemy's wound characteristic, you can equal it. So he's got slightly better snatch and grab. Sludgeraker Venom's the same for him. And then he has this thing called Betmaster. So to use this, you have to have a Hobgrot army in your unit. And what you do is you pick one of your units and you bet whether or not that's going to be the first one that dies. And if it is, you get a triumph. So triumphs are like things that add to your army for that game. They're usually pretty hefty bonuses, because you usually only get them if you don't have as many guys as the other side, right? They're meant as like a balancing mechanic. So if you pick the right unit that's going to die first, like say something you just charge in, then you expect it to die, you get a triumph out of it. Pretty good. That's pretty good. This is really good. So that's pretty cool. Does this one have as many wounds as the generic? Okay, so he's got 1 more wound in the generic. So this guy's probably just a flat up upgrade over the generic one, to be honest. Yeah, the generic does a little bit more damage with his weapon. That's it. But yeah, I'll probably build as a mix of the two, and then I'll just say it as whatever one I feel like playing it as. Alright. So, moving on to the last of the releases for this week. Oh, come on, get in there. We've got come on. No. I don't want to lose any runners or anything, so I'm trying to put them all back in their boxes, and it's being really annoying. Ah. There we go. This guy's a big model. I'm surprised he's in this small of a box, to be honest. I expected him to be in a bigger box than this, because he's a big model. Alright. That'll do. He's probably going to be the first thing I build. Anyway. Alright, so last up, we've got this ugly fucker. Alright, so out of all the Cruel Boys units, I will fully admit this is the one I like the least. I still like it. It's still a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. But it is definitely the one I like the least. And I think the thing that really puts me off it is the face on the guy down the bottom. But I love this cart with the little grots in it, and that's what made me still decide to pick it up, even though I fucking hate the way this guy looks. He looks so fucking dumb. People are making all these comments about him like being a simp and like crawling on the ground to smell ladies' feet and stuff, and I think it's very fitting. I think it's very much what this guy looks like. He looks like some kind of fucking weirdo. But these guys up here, they're awesome. I love them. And there's a bunch of variations of them, which is really cool. So, alright, let's look at this guy. Alright, so he's on a weird size base. It's bigger than that. Weird base size. Okay, let's see. So here's body and part of the platform. Interesting, that's all chosen to be built together. Here's a hands with a net. That's, I think, part of his head. I think that's part of his head. There's a hand. There's some more cables and stuff. There's a part for a head. Really weird slices, and here's part of a grot body. And then we have the other half of the body. There's the chest. There's what looks like an alternate head and neck. There's a different face. There's the grot beating the drum. There's the platform base. There's the hand with the like big grabby pole. There's another hand with a net. Got some chains. We got another grot. And we got this spiky bottom part, keep you from climbing up. And then we got the hands with this net here. Then we got a whole bunch of manacles. So that's really divided up really, really weird. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but we'll figure it out. Alright, so you put the lime in the coconut and you shake it all up. Put the two hats of the Sloggoth together. Then you put the base and you put his chest on. And you put the spiky parts around the base. And you put his hands on. And then you start doing... Okay, so it looks like we already have some options here of where we want the ladder to go. So that's an option. Which side we want the ladder to hang off of. And that's there. And then we have all kinds of weird options for the head. So it looks like we have two different tongues. And then two different faces that are looking different directions. Yeah, it's weird. Alright, so we end up getting two different heads, basically. Like full heads, like from the neck up. Which, I mean, if you like this thing's head, that's like the one part of this I don't like. I love everything else about this unit. But if you like this unit's head, I mean, rejoice, you get two of them. Alright, so then we can give our guys their big pole weapons, or we can give them nets. And then here's our drummer. And then lots and lots of like chains and manacles and stuff hanging off the back, so they can grab some guys. Then we put our grots on there like that. So yeah, nice and easy. Super simple, nothing crazy in there. The only option, we get some options for where things go on the platform and stuff, like the ladder, where the guys stand, and then we have head options for the Sloggoth underneath. Now let's check our boy out. He wasn't that far. Marsh Crawler Sloggoth. Let's see. 12 wounds, 4+ save, 6-inch move. He has a Grot Snatcher Crew, which at the end of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 2 inches of this unit and roll a dice. The unit is at least double the wounds characteristic. It is slain. Hold on. Wait. All right, back up. Let's read that over. Grot Snatcher Crew. At the end of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy model within 2 inches of this unit and roll a dice. If the roll is at least double that model's wound characteristic, it is slain. Okay, so that means that he can kill things that have up to 3 wounds. Because if you rolled a 6, that would be double. So if you throw him into a unit that has 3 wounds, he could potentially just one-shot it. That's pretty cool. Add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made with his melee weapons by friendly units that are within 18 inches of friendly units with this ability. Okay, so the guy on the back is playing his drum, and anybody within 18 inches gets a +1 to hit. That's pretty good. That's really good. That means you could make like the like most of the Cruel Boy stuff hit on like 2s. That's really good. Like, just to have this guy there just to do that. Like, even if he doesn't do anything else. And I mean, at 12 wounds, he's a lot of wounds. He's really pretty hefty. In your hero phase, you can roll a dice for this unit. If you do so on a 4+, heal D3 wounds. Yeah, this guy, he's pretty hefty as far as like staying alive in the battlefield. Those are pretty good rolls. I'm pretty impressed with those. Now the real question is, does he get his own +1 to hit? Add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by friendly units that are wholly within 18 inches of any friendly units with this ability. Does that count himself? Because if that's the case, he's hitting on 3s now. Which isn't the best. He doesn't have the best abilities. But it's still better than nothing. So, yeah. Pretty cool. So, for a unit that I'm not sold on the appearance of, his rolls are very good. But I think I will probably try to find a way to kit bash a different head onto this thing, because I really don't like this weird like pervert troll head it has. Just not into that. So we'll probably try to find a different head to go on there instead. But that's the Sloggoth. That's our Gutrippaz. That's our Swampboss Skumdrekk. And most importantly, that's the big bird, Gobsprakk, the mouth of Gork, right there himself. As he knocks everything on my desk over. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's everything for the Cruel Boys releases for today, and everything that's been released for them up to this point. They technically have one unit that has not been released yet, and that is the unit of standalone archers. I already have a set of archers from Dominion. I don't really want more, so I'm probably going to be passing on that. But that's everything they've got so far, right there. It's the whole army. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go hang out with my husband for a little bit, and then I'm going to probably get building these. Maybe we'll work on painting some tomorrow. Maybe I'll unbox something else. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I will say, for the next couple of weeks, starting next week, my schedule is going to be really crazy on the channel. My husband is going on a work trip. And I'm probably going to be streaming a bunch. Because it makes me less lonely because I have something to talk to, even if it's just YouTube. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing. So we'll definitely be painting these guys at some point, one way or another. But yeah, alright, so let me run there. Damn near 50 minutes just to open these guys and look at all their rolls. But they are super, super, super cool. Alright, cool. Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully this was entertaining. And keep on keeping on.